Welcome to the Podcast Editing and Support Show. My name is Dave. Are you ready? Are you ready? Let's go. We're going to start the episode right now. Happy to have you here. Let's do this. Hey, welcome back to the podcast. Glad to have you here. It's the month of June. And for the month of June, we're going to do a 5-part series here on Podcast Editing and Support. The podcast for you as an editor and support person to connect with other podcasters as an editor or as a podcaster to find your favorite editor. We're going to do a 5-part little series here about adapting and thriving in podcast services in this world of AI and everything that's going on right now in AI. How do we adapt and thrive as a business owner in this very interesting time and space? We're seeing a lot of changes happening in our industry and what we do and who we serve and the tools and resources at our fingertips now. And I wanted to kind of go through, and we're going to talk about understanding what's happening in podcasting and AI right now, about what we can do in an automated world as podcast editing and support people, how to reimagine what we offer in our services, some AI tools and some workflows maybe for you and your business, and kind of rounding it all off, kind of future-proofing your business and your community as a podcast editing and support person. So I'm glad you're here. And if you're concerned about AI and how this impacts you as a podcast editing and support person, then you're in the right place. Let's get together and let's chat about this. It's something I'm dealing with, and I'd love to get your feedback too over at podcasteditingandsupport.com. Thanks for pressing play. Let's get into this. So in a world of AI everywhere, AI everything, we got images and videos being created with AI. We have voiceovers with AI. We have tools that do editing and fix ums and ahs in AI. We have so much going on. For me, some of the ones I like right now, they're really catching my attention, are those baby podcasters. I find that quite amusing. The large, like Bigfoot ones where Bigfoot's talking to you, those are interesting. Yeah, any of these kind of things are kind of fun to see. I love the Pixar pictures where you can put a prompt in and you can create a Pixar version of you. I'm a huge Pixar viewer, and I love kind of how those films are made. Now you can do all this stuff with AI. It's quite amazing. There's a lot going on. And what I'm getting a little bit of hesitation from people like you and me who do podcast editing and support for people. I find that there's a little bit of nervousness in the space around all of this AI conversation and what it means for us. Like, there are things that we would do traditionally in the past. I've been doing podcast editing now for almost 7 years. And there's things that was like I was the go-to person for that an app can now replace to some degree, not really replace, but you're seeing a lot of changes happening. And I think we can either fight against the change or we can figure out how to navigate the change and what we can do for our editing and support services. So I want to kind of talk today, this is the first of 5, about understanding the AI landscape in podcasting and kind of get the ball rolling with a conversation around what does AI look like right now in podcasting? How has maybe podcast changed most recently? And kind of look through some ideas maybe for us as editors and support people. So let's talk about this. Modern AI doesn't just make editing faster, but it also enables podcasters and editors to create higher quality content. It also is great to help us to reach a wider audience. And it, with a fraction of the manual effort compared to the traditional tools that you and I may have started with, AI is really shaking up kind of the space right now and kind of changing how we do our workflow. There's a lot of great AI capabilities now around audio cleaning up like background noise, like Adobe Podcast, for example. Great tool that just cleans everything up. Takes somebody who sounds like they're 10 feet away, speaking into a laptop microphone. It feels like they have a mic. So it's kind of leveled out some of how we do what we do. And in the same way, where maybe people that I've come across in the past would be hesitant to have a podcast guest on the show without proper mics and setup. There's tools to make people sound better than they were on the recording day. And I think that's one of the advantages. It's opening the door for more people to be guesting. It's opening the doors for more people to podcast because we have a safety net now that we didn't have, 20 years ago in podcasting. We wanted to create great content and great audio quality and video quality from the beginning. So we had to have the best tools. Now we can go with less than best tools. Not always a great choice, but less than best tools and fix it on the back end. So there's two different approaches to this. And I know it's hotly debated around the podcast editing and support. Facebook groups and communities around what's the best way. I always believe that starting with a good, clean recording is the best way, but there are great tools now that many of us have access to that can really change how we approach editing and how we coach our clients on creating great content. It's enabling podcasts and editors to create higher quality content across the board. And again, it doesn't really take a lot of effort to build something great for our community. AI is having a direct impact on podcasting. I really do believe it. And I think the big part in all of this is how do we approach it in a way that serves us, serves our clients, and serves the listener. I think that's the biggest thing in all of this. What's the best for the listener? As we look at AI in podcasting, there are some really major AI tools shaping how audio editing and support services exist and what we do going forward. The 2025 AI Toolkit for podcasters so far, middle of the year, I know there's more things coming out while I'm recording this right now, but for editors, there's a robust and growing list of tools for us. For audio cleanup, there's a tool called Krisp, which is kind of a cool behind-the-scenes app that can help clean up a lot of the sound, especially if you're doing meetings like on Zoom and a bunch of other places. It can live in the background helping you. There's Descript, which people love. I have never really used that tool. It's not something that I frequent. I'm an audio editor. I don't like to edit text-based. But yeah, there's Studio Sound with them. There's Adobe Podcast. That's my go-to for what I try to use most often. A lot of these things can help remove background noises and enhance voice clarity, and even some low-quality recordings can be salvaged using tools like Krisp and Studio Sound and Adobe Podcast. So that's a great thing for audio cleanup. There's transcription services. For me, I have a Google Pixel phone. I just play the episode through my phone with a recording happening in the background, automatically transcribes, doesn't cost me a penny. It's built onto my phone. So I don't need any of these tools per se, but people will use Otter AI, Descript. There's a bunch. Riverside has it built in as well. Krisp also has transcription services. All these AI tools can really produce pretty accurate speaker-labeled transcriptions. These are not only boost your accessibility, but also can help you as you take that information, convert them into articles and Substack posts and email newsletters and all kinds of great content can come right from your transcription. So a great tool there. And again, we didn't have that a long time ago. And what we did have was super expensive. And a lot of people weren't using it for that reason. There is text-based editing. Again, that's not how I do my work, but it might work for you. So again, Descript allows you to do that. Riverside's adding new tools all the time. I believe Riverside just added music as well to their tools, and it's crazy. Everybody keeps bolting on more and more and more to their services right now. So I'm using Zoom for meetings. So I do a lot of meetups, and I have conference meetups and stuff. And I use that for the multi-use. I use it for meetings for what Zoom was intended for, meetings. And then I'm leveraging Zoom then for my recordings because I'm already paying for it. So to have Zoom with a paid plan and a paid plan on Descript or Riverside or Squad, all these other places, I just go with Zoom for my stuff. That's my approach because it works for me, right? I think the biggest thing in all of this as we go through these is to find the tool that you love and stick with it. Don't be going to 25 different tools and having subscriptions to all. You're going to burn through your wallet pretty quickly, and you're never really going to get great on any one when you're spread so thin. So pick one, go all in, learn it, figure it out. If it doesn't work for you, then make a transition. But go, if you like text-based editing, again, you're looking at words on a screen more than an audio waveform, then maybe Descript would be a good choice for you. And automated show notes and summaries, we get them through Riverside. I believe Podcastle also does this as well, where they can generate episode summaries, keyword lists. They can pull quotes from the episode and even suggest some social media posts using their own AI content analysis. I like to write down my timestamps when they happen in real time. A quick glance on my screen, I know at the 28-minute mark, my guess it's something profound that I'd really like to zoom in on. Then I'm just going to write that down on my notes during the recording. That's just how I do it. And when I'm editing for others, same thing. I'm listening through and I'm like, wow, that was a good moment. I'm going to recommend that to my client so that they understand that, hey, we should probably focus in on this. I think there's a lot of value here. There's a lot of other tools that can also help with filler word and silence removal. Buzzsprout has their own plan there and their own tools. They've white labeled someone else's tool and brought it onto their platform. But you can fix a lot of those mistakes and fix some of those ums and ahs and dead air. That's cool. Just be careful that you don't go too far with that and start making people sound like robots. People breathe. And it's okay to breathe, everybody. Everybody take a breath. It's okay to breathe. So you don't take all of that. I think it dehumanizes us and our presentation and makes people a little uneasy. And if somebody thinks you're too slow or too gappy in your recordings, they're just going to speed you up anyway. So speak to the people who listen to you at 1x speed, normal people that listen to 1x speed, and just focus on them and create content for them. If they find you too slow, they're just going to speed you up anyway, so it doesn't matter. Filler words and silence removal, great AI tools out there for us. There's social media automation about making clips that automatically get sent out to your social platforms. Again, years ago, not even an option. That was a whole team dedicated to do that for you if you weren't doing it yourself. And then what I love right now is voice cloning and enhancement. Descript has overdub. Again, I'm not a Descript user, but Descript has overdub. I like voicemaker.in. That's a tool that I'm using all the time. And there I can do text to speech. I can put a bunch of words on the screen, upload it, and then pick a voice and it'll read it back to me. I can do speech to speech. I can record my voice on the platform or upload an audio clip of me and it'll turn me into another voice, which is a little more realistic because we talk differently than we type. So recording using speech to speech is really cool. They even have voice cloning, which means I can record a clip of myself and then make a cloned version of my own voice. It's not perfect, but it's pretty amazing and fun to play with. That's at voicemaker.in. So there's a lot of great tools out there, again, that we haven't had access to in the past, or we've been so priced out of the range of having access to them that it just wasn't viable. It's becoming better and better for us all the time. So what are some of the promise and pitfalls, strengths and current limitations about AI and its relationship with podcasting? The big win, I think, for all of us in editing and for podcasters with AI now part of the conversation and all that we do is the time savings. Editing, transcribing, producing a podcast episode is now significantly faster. And this is actually freeing up editors and producers to focus on additional, adjacent creative work that we haven't had time to do for our clients. And what I'm noticing is there are some groups that are really pushing back on all of this time savings and the fact that the tool does everything for me. And I've lost control of my creative side and doing my edits and my old workflow. To hang on to it like it's like the best thing going, but it's really not. And by not adapting, a lot of these podcast editors are going to lose their place because people are going to move forward with them and time marches on. And if you don't embrace the time savings and then add new services, or coaching or something to your portfolio, you're going to get passed over because people are understanding that they can download the same program that you're using. They can download Descript just like you can. They can learn Descript just like you did. And in that, they don't really need you anymore. So understand the dramatic time savings that comes with these AI tools. And what are you going to do with that time so that you maintain relevance as an editing and support person? And maybe you do less editing and more support. I don't know. But you're going to save time. So what are you going to do with that time? And how are you going to value that time? And how is your podcaster that hires you going to appreciate the value of that time savings? What are you going to do with that? Also, there's more consistency, more accessibility as well for us and for our podcasters that we serve by automating what we do and standardizing our quality. We can produce consistent outputs that really connect with an audience and really support our podcasters. Our transcripts are better. Our edits are better. Our ums and ah removal, they're better. The everything that we do is impacted by this. It also helps a lot of new editors come into the space. And some people are threatened by that because they want to make it a small pool with expensive price per hour or package deals that a lot of independent podcasters could never afford. So this ease of entry allows for us to do more with less and do it cheaper so that more people can get help. You don't need to have, a budget of $500 an episode to have support now. You can get a lot cheaper support, not cheaper in service, but cheaper in dollar value, simply by embracing these tools. And that's kind of where I'm heading with my business, is I'm going to focus more on the 70, 80% of the podcasting community that's not sponsored, doesn't make a ton of money with their show, and doesn't have the finances to hire somebody. Then I'm going to kind of go after the larger group of people than the business podcaster who, again, $250, $300, $500 an episode, that's nothing for them. I would love to have those clients, trust me, that would be great, but I'm finding there's a bigger gap in the hobbyist single podcaster than the big multi-group podcast. That's kind of where I'm kind of focusing right now. There's an ease of entry. There's more people coming into the space. Don't be threatened, but be creative and come up with what's different with what you do compared to what everybody else does. Because AI is going to bring in more and more people. This is what's going to happen. And it also is going to help us as a strength. It's going to help us with our SEO. We're going to do better SEO work for our clients and better repurposing for our clients. This discoverability via AI is really going to surface more and more. If we feed the AI what it's looking for, our results will come back better and better. So that's some of the strengths around the promise and pitfalls of AI and podcasting. What are some of the limitations, though? What are some of the things that really aren't working out so well right now? And where are the gaps? With all these AI tools, it's not all, sunshine and rainbows right now. There are some gaps, some limitations, and some pitfalls when we go all in on AI and take our eyes and hands off of the mouse and off the editing and release our business to an AI tool. What are some of these pitfalls? There's some accuracy gaps. AI transcription is not perfect. Humans aren't perfect, so it's not a win or loss conversation. It's more of an opportunity to talk about how the two can work together, humans and AI. This struggle between the two, one or the other, is causing some division. And I think that when we have people with accents, for example, or specialized vocabulary or terminology that is hard to navigate, think of the word live versus the word live. It's spelled the same. But when we run it through these tools, They can say the word live instead of live or live instead of live. There's some things in the English language, for example, that some of these tools don't know how to navigate, which is the fun part about English, right? Yeah, we have multiple ways of saying the same word, which is fun. AI struggles a little bit, and having a human component to the transcription, for example, can really help clarify that. There's a loss of personal touch, I think, as another pitfall. As we over-rely on automation, it can make our content feel quite generic, quite vanilla. It can also throw us into this big bucket of the same as everybody else, where our content doesn't stand out, our edits don't stand out, our voice doesn't stand out, because it looks just like the 30, 40, 50 other podcasts that are using the exact same tool in our space. And we all just become a big pile of the same. That personal touch is gone, for the most part, that we used to have years ago. There's an ongoing learning curve as well in this space where, with so much happening, so much change. Think about the comments we hear about Descript, for example. They have new features all the time, and they keep moving everything around because they're adding and adding and adding, trying to stay on top of the curve, to the point where people are like, I don't even know where the button went, where I did the thing. This ongoing learning curve of learning these tools. A lot of single podcasters who want to record their podcast and move on are not going to sign up to learn these tools. So there is a gap being created between those who have the time to learn these tools and those that don't. So that could be part of your advantage in your podcast editing and support services, is that you are the expert on that tool, on that process, on that workflow, so that people can just give it to you. They don't want to pay for the program. They don't want to learn a new tool. They're not techie. They just want you to do it for them. So you become the expert on that tool. So again, going back to what we said earlier, instead of learning every tool, learn your tool and become the subject matter expert on that tool. Follow it, learn about it, stay up to date on it, and play with it. Try to break it, figure it out, and become the expert in that space. There's also some ethical and authenticity concerns around all this AI and podcasting specific to editing and support. The voice cloning I mentioned earlier, and AI-generated content, it raises some questions. It raises questions about what's happening in transparency in podcasting, and if this is a real human or not. There's flags being thrown on content that appears to be AI-generated. There's a lot of stuff going on now in the space. And if you want to be totally unique, you can go old school and do it all manually and do it all the way we used to. That's actually going to become quite unique because, again, everybody's using the same tools. Everybody's content looks the same, sounds the same, feels the same. So if you go old school and do it the old way, that's kind of how I do it, then maybe that'll be your unique selling point. Because it's different, because it's the old way, and it's kind of retro. Maybe retro's in when we talk about AI and podcasting. So maybe going retro might be the good idea. Be stuck in the 70s. I don't know. Maybe this will help you. There's some expectations from our clients that are shifting when we talk about AI and podcasting. As AI becomes central to podcast production, there's some things that are changing. Turnaround times, for example. Clients now expect things much faster to get delivery of their final episode, quicker, with better transcripts, better show notes, and given AI's ability to automate these processes, the attention on us is, if it used to take us 3 days, it should take us 3 hours. That's kind of the perception that I'm hearing from people. Why is this taking so long? So there's a perception that AI is going to speed up the process and get people what they want faster. There's also a redefinition of what value is. Value is less about the manual labor part of podcast editing and support, which again, when I go into podcast groups and editing and support groups, they focus on how labor intensive it is. And it's like they're ignoring that AI even exists. So they keep hanging on to, well, I'm going to have to charge this much money per hour because this is how long it takes me. AI is going to speed up your process. So the idea of what value is not based on your manual labor hours anymore. It's more about how well editors deploy AI and deliver better quality, reliable processes and more creative guidance for our podcasters. With SEO, we talked about, and accessibility. Clients are increasingly requesting transcripts for an audience that can't listen to the show for whatever reason. More multi-format content, not just audio podcasts, everybody. Video is here. And as much as we want to fight back against it, our clients are asking for it. If you don't offer it, they're going to go somewhere else. So you need to think about how you're going to adjust what you do and who you serve. If you only want to serve audio, then your audio audience and audio podcast only clients are shrinking. Video is there. And even if they have an audio released podcast, they're looking for clips to promote the episode at very bare minimum. So what are you going to do? Are you going to adapt yourself to what's happening? The standard audio episode, as recorded and edited and released back to our client, is changing. There's also an opportunity for us, as AI becomes more central to podcast production, for us to do more consulting and more strategy support for our podcasters. Our clients are looking for editors who don't just push buttons and do cutting and splicing and removing ums and ahs. With these AI tools, it's opening doors for us to give more ideas on best practices and how to pick the right tools and how to be a better host, how to be a better guest, how to ask better questions in an interview. There's a lot of other things that we can offer now because of all these things that are happening in the background. It's time to lean into something that maybe we haven't tried before. As the audience and as the clients are moving away from what we used to do to what they want us to do, it's our opportunity to learn, grow, and expand. So what's up for you? What are you planning on doing for your business as we look forward into the world of AI growing even more and impacting us even more in the future? How are you going to adapt? There's one other part to all of this, and it's kind of around the mindset that we need to have when it comes to change. How we embrace this kind of evolution that's happening rather than being afraid of it. AI is not here to replace the podcast editor or to replace the support professional who supports podcasters, but it's going to amplify our creativity, how productive we are, and the value that we bring to our podcasters. Success comes from adopting a learner's mentality. Don't be afraid of AI. Don't be afraid of what's coming, but become an active learner. View AI as a toolkit to master and not a threat to your role. Stay curious. Test new features and tools. When you hear of something different, you heard of Krisp, for example. Have you checked out Krisp yet? No. Then you need to go check it out. You need to know what's going on in the space. Whether you use it or not, you need to know what it is because your client's going to ask you, hey, I saw this thing. What do you know about it? I have no idea. I'm an audio editor. I'll never change. Okay, so you're going to lose clients that way, just so you know. Stay curious. Test new features. Test new AI tools. Be up to date on what's happening. Focus on the human value as well in all the things we do. AI can automate everything, really. But your expertise in storytelling, quality assurance, understanding how the audience, understanding people, bringing humanity into the conversation, all of these creative decision-making things that you can do sets you apart from any AI tool ever. AI has never had their heart broken. AI has never gone for its first driver's test. AI has never been fired from a job and had to carry their box out to the car. You know things. So leverage what you know. You can lead your clients through this world of AI and its impact on podcast editing and support. Educate and guide your clients through all of the changes. Position yourself as the go-to expert on both AI tools and traditional podcasting skills, a mix of the new and the retro. And by embracing AI's potential in this conversation around podcast editing and AI, we can future-proof our services. And I think that's one thing I'm hearing a lot of people are worried about, future-proofing your services. We can deliver more value and play a central role in a continued evolution and success of the podcast industry by having one hand in the world of AI and one hand in the skills and talents and abilities that we had to use when there was no AI. And by marrying the two, we become better, stronger than people who only have the AI side and people that only have the retro old school mentality. When we can blend the two, there's your superpower. That's the Superman. That's the Wonder Woman. That's the thing that's going to set you apart from everybody else. It's great to be retro and old school, but don't forget to get your eye off the what's coming and be aware of what's coming next. That's going to make you stand out. We're going to jump into the next in the series around podcast services and AI. Come back because we got 4 more episodes in this little mini series, and I'd love to hear your feedback. Podcasteditingandsupport.com. Talk to you soon. Thanks for listening to the Podcast Editing and Support Show. Visit us at podcasteditingandsupport.com. Podcasteditingandsupport.com. We would love to help you find a great podcast editor, or if you want to hire us, we would love to work with you. Podcasteditingandsupport.com. Catch you on the next episode. Take care.